Okay, for tonight, we have four people talking to you. I will start. I'm one of, Ingun for everyone who doesn't know me, I'm Ingun. I'm one of the co-founders of the Female Wave of Change and board member. Then Sandra Kok, she will tell you more about the whole organization of the Female Wave of Change. She's also one of the board members. Maaike, I'm very happy that she could join us. It's Maaike van Esch is a specialist wave maker who will tell you all about the wave makers and the specialist wave makers during this web event. She is the specialist wave maker for the Millenials, and I know she invited a lot of Millenials for this wave online. So probably you are part of that group. She will tell more about it, what her role will be in the total organization, and how you can reach out to her for to become more part of the Female Wave of Change. And last but certainly not least, Saskia Harkema, she's one of our ambassadors. We have a nice group of ambassadors. Sandra will tell more about it. And Saskia is not just an ambassador, she will also take a bigger part of this presentation, of this webinar, and she will do a small presentation about something that is, of value to everyone who joins us tonight. So lot to do. We have an hour. It can be longer. It's not a problem if we do 5-10 minutes longer, but we want to keep this at efficient as possible. Well, as I told you, I am Ingun Bol, co-founder of the Female Wave of Change. I have just to share a little bit about myself. I have a background in the IT business for almost 20 years. I quit my job 14 years ago now because I realized I was never going to be happy in this male environment, and wanted to really live my passion, get more freedom. Started my own business 14 years ago. I'm successful building a network of people who want to become more independent. I teach and coach them to train and coach them to become entrepreneurs, and I really love that. I created freedom, and so I have loads of time. Well, not loads of time, but I have a lot of time to spend on what I always call the giving back, and things that I don't have to earn money, but I really feel important in life. And women empowerment has been one of my passions for the last 6 years. And especially the last couple of years, I've been studying and reading a lot about what will be happening in the years to come, what challenges we will be facing. We see that this world is changing, and it's changing fast, and it will be a lot faster in the years to come. And there will be what I saw, especially with women, is that they whether they don't see it, they don't act on it. And they feel like, I always say, okay, if I do this, if I don't look left or right, it will all stay the same. And I thought, this is not good. We have to create this awareness that things are changing, and especially that feminine energy has to play a very important role in creating that new world, to create that new environment. So, at the end of last year, the Female Wave of Change was born, and we thought that it would be an event in spring 2017, and that we were going to organize the event, create awareness, have great speakers, etc., etc. But then I changed my LinkedIn account and said, I'm the co-founder of Female Wave of Change. And then something started to explode, and there was so much energy, and there was so many people from all over the world asking me what I was going to do, and if they could join us. That we said, this is not just going to be this event, this is going to be a lot bigger, because there's a lot of women out there who feel that that we need that energy, and that we need that coming together, connecting, building bridges to really embrace the change, and as women be part of everything that you know, all the challenges that are to come, and that the new opportunities that we can create. So on one hand, the female wave of change was all about creating awareness. It was all about well, be inspired by women who have already done the things that need to be done. But we also said we have to take it that step further. We have to create that platform, an international platform, worldwide platform, with new initiatives, new opportunities, new businesses, new projects, NGOs, whatever. And we have to do it together. And so the Female Wave of Change was born December last year, and we're 2 months now on the road. And we said, well, you know, we have already so many people following us from many places, that we have to start now to do what what we say that we are going to do. So create these waves of awareness, waves of inspiration, waves of sharing knowledge, waves of connecting, waves of building new opportunities, creating new opportunities. And that is also why we're starting now, tonight, with this first small wave. And I must say, we have a schedule of once every 3 weeks, but I think we have enough speakers, enough inspiring people who have built great businesses, or done NGOs, whatever, have great ideas, that we can, I think we could do it every week, but I think for now, we are going to start with once a week. What I would like to do, because, you know, I only have 10 minutes, the others also, so again, if you have any questions, please let us know in the chat box, and we'll try to answer as many questions. Also, you know, if I know there's people from different countries, I really would like to welcome, a special welcome to Bonnie. I talked with her a couple of days ago. She's someone I met 6 years ago at the Global Women's Summit in Los Angeles. And today she decided to become one of our ambassadors in Switzerland. So special welcome to you, Bonnie. We will learn a lot from you, and it will be great to see where we can collaborate with all the things that you are doing. I'm going to introduce Sandra. Sandra Kok. I met her 6 years ago, also for my first project of women empowerment, and we've been working closely together since. And it's so great to have you on board with the Female Wave of Change, and you've been doing loads of work so far. So, okay, the microphone is for you.
Thank you, Ingun, and hi everyone. Well, I'm Sandra. As Ingun already told you, I am one of the board members. Just a little bit about myself, I have a background of over 25 years in a variety of companies in different positions, but decided to follow my heart to more freedom in 2010. So in the middle of the crisis, I started my own business, and it wasn't always easy, but I'm still there. So it worked, what I've done and what I'm still doing. And I think that is one of the reasons that I joined the Female Wave of Change, is that I think women can achieve much more by just standing up instead of waiting for other people, men or women, to come to them and ask them to join or ask them to help out or take over a position. No, we just have to go after it ourselves. And if we can achieve that with the Female Wave of Change, I think we have a very powerful organization to do that. Well, as Ingun already said, the organization of Female Wave of Change is not only the board, we also have a lot of ambassadors. We are striving to have an ambassador in each country around the world. So that's a very ambitious goal, but we're on our way, and you can find them on the website with their own small story. If you go to the page, the story, you find the ambassadors, but you also can meet the first wave makers that we have. We don't have many yet, and we're still looking for a lot of wave makers. And I can imagine that people are thinking, what is the difference between a wave maker and an ambassador? Well, an ambassador is someone with a huge network, and not only in their own country, but also around the world. And they are sharing their vision, their network, and they're helping us to spread our vision and mission. Wave makers are more the people who are helping us spread the word of Female Wave of Change locally by organizing events, by bringing people together, so it's more hands-on. You can read about it, what the difference is between the ambassador and the wave makers on the website. And if you know someone, or if you're one of the persons who would love to help us as a wave maker, you can just sign up there, and we'll get back to the people who are emailing us through the contact form. Well, we're not only having a website, of course, we're also active on social media, starting with basically LinkedIn and Facebook. We have a lot of followers there on our Facebook page and our LinkedIn group, but we also have a Twitter account. We post some on YouTube, and we're also starting to use Instagram. Not very active yet, but watch us. We will show a lot of things there as well. But if you want to share things with us about the Female Wave of Change, we have 2 hashtags that we use a lot, or maybe 3. Of course, it's totally Female Wave of Change, but also hashtag Wave. And what we use most is the hashtag FWoC 2017. So if you want to share things with us, please use those hashtags as well, and we will see what you have posted. Well, I think I'm even faster than the 10 minutes you gave me, Ingun. What else can I tell you? Well, I think the website you have to see and go see yourself. I hope that we can create a lot of rumor and a lot of waves, but also that we can create fabulous events, not only here in the Netherlands, but everywhere around the world, and start new initiatives, start new ways of working together, and get all the women financially independent, because that is one of the main goals that we have. I think that's about it for me today.
Yeah, well, Sandra, I have a question.
Yes?
Because, well, you know, you told us, we have ambassadors, we have wave makers, especially the group of the wave makers. For us, it's very important right now that group grows. And what kind of women do you think that we need over there, that we need as wave makers?
Well, we have 2 kinds of wave makers. We have local wave makers. Those are the women that organize local events, the offline events, bring women together. That can be all kinds of people, but they want to share our vision and want to bring people together and help them or empower those women. And then you have specialist wave makers. Well, we're going to hear one later. It's Maaike. And they have a specific, they're a specialist. And Maaike is one who is a millennial. We have one who is already in the health business. We have one who is more in press and publicity. And we're going to grow that group. So we have specialists. who can help out lots of people who are creating initiatives or new ways of working together with their their specialization. So it's two ways that we have the wave makers.
Okay. Okay. So people can join. They can on the website. They can just hit the button and say, okay, you know, I know someone, or I want to join, and please connect with me. Yeah.
Absolutely. Yes.
Okay. Something that you're also very involved in is our initial first project that we had when we started was the big event that we will be organizing in September this year in the Netherlands. Can you tell us a little bit more about that event?
Yes, that's going to be, well, the official kickoff of the Female Wave Change. We're looking for a variety of speakers. You can find some already on the website, the ones who are already speaking during that event. It's going to be a full day event, including lunch and including drinks at the end of the day. We are very fortunate that when we reach out to the first speaker, and it's not a woman, it's a man, because we're not saying no to men. We have to do it all together in the world. So we reached out to Bas van der Veld, who is the CEO of FWoC software, and he's someone, he doesn't have a secretary or an assistant. He's using a lot of life hacking tools, and he's challenging his team, but also challenging the people who he's meeting when he's on stage. And he's inspiring and being himself and showing that you don't need all the people around you to do your work, but you need to use special tools to make life easier on yourself. So we sent him an email and he came back, well, if you want to, you can use our theater. They have a theater there for almost 300 people. And he just provided us with the theater, but not only the theater, because when I was there for a meeting, I was a bit shocked when they said, but it's not just the theater, it's also the whole event that we would like to sponsor for you. So they are hosting our full event for the whole day, and we can just say what we need, and he's going to do it for us. And I think I looked very silly when I heard that. But it's an amazing gift for us for our first meeting.
Yeah.
So I hope we can just get the whole theater full with with women joining us there. And it's not just listening to speakers, but in the afternoon we're gonna start creating waves there live with all kinds of initiatives.
So it's not just word cafe. Yeah, yeah. Act, do. That's very important. Yeah. Well, thank you. Yes, it's FWoC who offered us the main, who is going to be the main sponsor of our event, and we're very happy with that. So it will be international speakers again. So we will be flying in people from different parts of the world. So it will be very exciting to see you there as well, and bring your friends and to that event. Well, thank you, Sandra. We're going to our next speaker, and I already told you I'm very proud that she joined the Female Wave of Change. It's Maaike. And when we started creating this the Female Wave, we were at one moment we said, well, you know, this group is getting too old. You know, and I said, well, we need the millennials, because especially the millennials are, that's a group that will, you know, they will lead the next generation, but they also, the way they think, they act, you know, it's so refreshing, it's very different. We had a meeting with last Friday with some of the ambassadors, some of the board members, and Maaike, the millennial, and you know, several times she just said, well, come on, guys, this is 2017. We have to start thinking differently. And that's Maaike. I met her 8 years ago, but I think you're going to tell about it. So, Maaike, the floor is yours. You will have to open up your microphone. Yes.
Yes, and I hope you can all hear me by now. So, hello to everyone out there and to everyone who's joining today from all over the world. So it's great to meet you here, and some of you are totally new here today, and we hope to see you way more often than just today. And some of us are already familiar a bit with the female wave of change, but certainly I think we are all here with the same interest, and that is an interest in making change happen. So before I'm going to start my story about being a specialist wave maker millennials, I'm going to give you a small introduction about myself, and let me tell you as well how I got actually involved in the female wave of change. So Ingun, thank you for the small introduction, and for sure I want to explain a bit more about how we met. So 9 years ago, I think it was by 2008, I moved to Madrid as a young Dutch woman. I was part of the Erasmus exchange program. And yeah, after that great experience, I decided to continue my journey abroad by following a master's degree in international business, and did a couple of internships as well in Madrid. And in that exciting period, I met Ingun and her husband, who were by that time entrepreneuring in Spain. So we met, we kept in touch, we followed each other on Facebook, and yeah, by the time that I moved back from Madrid to the Netherlands, that's already back in 2010, I started my career in sales, especially in the food industry, and many years and experiences later, Ingun and I found out by surprise just over last December that we live in the same city, Noordwijk. So we got back into touch, and that's where the story started. So just yeah, let me tell you as well a bit more about my professional career, and then how I really got into this. So just in December, I had quit my job as key account manager for the American corporate international flavors and fragrances. So I might hear you thinking, why? What happened? I felt I was not following my ambitions and talents. I knew it was out there somewhere else, but I didn't know exactly what. It was a feeling, and I decided to take that challenge, and I knew there was for sure going to be change. And that's what really attracted me. So I took a small sabbatical to find out what that was exactly. So over the last couple of months, I discovered I have a strong passion for people management, talent development, motivating others for success, and I was still finding out how to turn that all into a broader picture. So I decided to turn the tide. I started studying again, and I'm now focusing on pursuing my career into the area of HR probably. So that enables me to work on strategic changes, but I also decided to set up my own strategic advisory company, which is going to be called Mind Your People, because I believe that people are the largest asset that companies have today, and it even matters more tomorrow. How do you build strategically your company? How are you going to prepare your company for all the changes that are going to happen over the next years and decades? And what I find especially interesting is the role of the millennial in this story. So the millennials and the upcoming generations after them are expected to have a large number of employers until their retirement, counting up to 14, and who knows, it might be more. So we're going to have a way more flexible and differentiating workspace in which all of us are going to move and start up new initiatives. So what does all of this have to do then with the reason why I'm a specialist wave maker? So what also happened over the last couple of months is that I spoke with many women of my generation, of other generations, and then especially when it concerns the millennials, it turned out I am by far not the only one who is thinking about, am I doing the right thing? Am I following my passion? Am I doing whatever fits my talents? So it's about following dreams, about following your passions, about your ambitions, and how can we combine all of that in today's world? Because I think we're a highly educated generation that grew up with anything is possible anytime, but we have to realize as well that it doesn't come without making an effort. So I really believe, and yeah, we are the next generation leaders. So if we can work together and influence and inspire each other to prepare ourselves for change making and leading positions in the future. So that is basically my main motivation why I'm so driven to perform this role, and why I'm as well so proud to be a specialist wave maker for Female Wave of Change. So my message to you tonight is that I really encourage you to become part of this Female Wave of Change so that we can start building the future together. Because I think we really agree that we, the millennials, we have a lot to contribute to this group. And above all, we can as well learn a lot from the more experienced generation. So I really have the ambition that we are all going to build bridges, influence each other with all these nice initiatives. So in my role as specialist wave maker, I would like to focus in the first place on initiating trainings and workshops that, for example, focus on female leadership, on entrepreneurship. I would also like to bring some inspirational speakers onto the table to bring a powerful message, and as well by setting up focus groups to stimulate discussion and to create a platform to develop, inspire, and make change happen together. So I really hope that you are interested in doing that with us. And I'm not sure if you have questions just for now. I don't see anything coming up yet, but feel free to share it with me if you have anything you want to know, if you have the feeling that you might miss something, if you want to know more about me.
Well, you're also on the website, Maaike, so they can find you there and reach out to you. What we've been discussing this morning when we were working together on the vision and mission and things like that, that's, well, you said, well, we can learn a lot from the next generation. You want to build bridges, not just have the millennials as one group, but as part of, we have the baby boomers, we have the 30, 40 generation right now. And of course, the millennials can learn a lot from the older generation, but I think it's especially the other way around that is very important right now. Yeah.
Yeah, I really agree with that. Yeah. Yeah, because there are so many years ahead of us, and the world is changing, and it's going already really rapidly, but it's going to be even faster over the next years. So I think we really need to be prepared for that and take this initiative.
Okay. I have one more question. You say,
Yes.
especially on this slide, you're interested in more than money.
Yes.
What's that?
Well, what I think, if we are looking at the labor market, most of the millennials are highly educated. We are well aware of what's happening around us, and we know how to find our way to the media, and we are like mostly non-stop 24/7 active on social media. So that gives us also a big platform to learn about what's out there in the world other than just having your own company or a job or earning money, because money can't buy happiness in the end. So and I think what the millennials are very well aware of is that we also just have one planet. So if we and the future generations want to have a sustainable life out here on this planet, then we also need to not only take from all the resources that we have, but we also need to give back. And this is just one example, but it can also be very much linked to, for example, social matters such as social welfare, helping out on refugees, on anything that has a bigger social context. I hope that more or less answers your question.
Okay, yes, absolutely. I have a question from Bonifacio. How do you view intergenerational leadership? I think that's a nice question to you, but also a nice question to Saskia, to the next speaker.
Yes. If you want, I can give an answer to that, and Saskia can follow up in her session very well. So from my point of view, intergenerational leadership. Another question, but first focusing on this one. So intergenerational leadership. I think what we can't avoid is that that we have to work together. So if you speak about this way of leadership, then I think that we can use all of the experience that the various generations have for leadership. I mean, if I were a young leader and I had to lead a team, then I can use a lot of the experience that other team members are bringing in, even though they might be much older than me. And I experienced that in my previous job as well. And I think it's about exchange of knowledge and about having respect for each other and about understanding that everyone has its own way of leadership, no matter if you're younger or older. And I think that's the basics for me.
Okay.
I hope that answers the question.
I think
oh, I see you. Thank you.
Yeah, and I think Bonnie as well is aware that this is, as I think, absolutely something that we can spend an hour on, or we can spend a weekend on, or week, or this is a very good question, and absolutely something to write down and to pick up on some of your meetings, because this is very interesting. Yeah. Well, Maaike, thank you very much.
There's another question that I see from Brenda. I don't know if time allows us.
You are over time, so if you can do it very short.
Yeah, I will stay very short on that. Brenda asks, how do you accomplish what you like then compared to your previous job? So if I understand that well, then she is trying to ask what I do differently than in my previous job, or if yeah. Brenda, could you maybe be a bit more specific?
Maybe I think we need to watch time, and maybe we have to maybe that she can tell you in the chat box what she means, and that you can discuss on it later. I really want to go to the next speaker. So thank you very much, Maaike. It was really nice, really great to hear you speak here, and I really like, you're just you joined the Female Wave of Change only 2 months ago, but you have already contributed so much. So thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Yeah. We're going to the next speaker, and that's Saskia. So also someone I've known for a long time. We met at high school, and well, not going to tell you how long ago that is, but it's It's a long time ago. So, Saskia, you can turn on your camera, you share your camera, and I am going to change presentations because you have your own.
Yes.
Yes. So, the floor is yours.
Okay, thank you, Ingun. Well, first of all, I would like to say hello to everybody. And I would like to tell a little bit about myself. I'm an academic, I'm an activist, I'm an ambassador for Female Wave of Change, and I'm an entrepreneur. So I have different roles in my life, and I think what is the most important one is that I really love to train and teach and to work with people. And I do that in a variety of different jobs. I work as a visiting professor for several universities in Europe and in Turkey and in the Netherlands. And I work with, as I said, young people, but also with professionals from all over the world. So I was fascinating. I do that online. I was talking to somebody from Palestine, and he was writing, or he was explaining to me that he wanted to ignite entrepreneurship in Palestine. And well, this brings me to the topic of what I would like to talk about in this first webinar. Is about not only entrepreneurship, but also about leadership and about, I think, what Female Wave of Change stands for. And we've been, I think all the speakers mentioned it. It's about change. We all feel that change is very much part of everyday life, and we also feel that there is need for change, and that there is an acceleration of change. So how do we deal with that, and what role can we as ambassadors or we as Female Wave of Change play in that respect? So I will have, I think in 15 minutes, I want to take you through a number of, I would call it ideas or insights about where our world is, according to me, about leadership, and also about entrepreneurship. So where are we now? In order to be able to understand also how you can support change, how you can initiate change, we need to understand where we are now, and I would like to introduce a model to try to explain that. Maybe you can go to the next slide. Yeah, this is a model which is called spiral dynamics. It was developed by Don Beck and Christopher Cohen. I will not make it very theoretical, but what is very interesting about this model is that it basically describes society in terms of, you could say, beliefs that we hold as citizens, our motivation patterns, organizational dynamics, goals, and also the groups or communities that you can find in society. And what makes this model different from other models that there are is that it basically says that you don't go from one stage to the other, but you can go through different stages at the same time, and you can even go through one stage in a certain situation and in another situation. I will briefly tell you a little bit about these stages because I think that's also important to understand the model. If you can go to the next slide. So they work with colors. And you see the first one is the beige one. And the beige is basically the most basic one. So you see here that it describes that in this type of society, there is a very limited self-awareness, and it relies very much on instincts and habits to survive. So this is really about societies which are trying to focus on really the most basic needs. And I think, unfortunately, if we look in the world, most of the societies are beyond this stage, and only in very remote areas you will find societies in this stage. The next stage is the purple one. The purple one is called the tribal, animistic, magical, and more spiritual stage, and it is very close to nature, and it has very focus on also how seasons evolve. So it's what's called cyclical in outlook. So this is a society where, you know, it's more tribal, and it also focuses very much on ancestral spirits, and blood bonds are strong. If we now think about what's happening in the United States with the Indians and the pipeline that Trump has decided to finish, which goes through basically the place where they are living, you can understand that these stages do not, it's not like one is better than the other, because each stage has very important elements which we all need. And so I would call these tribes in purple stage, with a very strong focus on also the importance of Earth and their ancestors. And it's a pity that we somehow have forgotten about how important that also is. If we then move on to the next stage, that's the red stage. This is a more rough and harsh, a more authoritarian, and it finds expression, it says, in slavery, exploitation of unskilled work, and there's a very strict division of labor. Well, what kind of countries can you think of? I think countries which are still quite underdeveloped, and basically it's also countries where large companies outsource their work to, because they still have very cheap labor, and unfortunately also child labor. So it is these red countries that or countries which are in this red phase, that somehow are in a situation that they cannot choose, because they are dependent of countries which are in another stage, which are, in a sense, exploiting what they have to offer. The next stage is the blue stage. The blue stage is, it says, purposeful, and also relies on authority, and the authority is defined by the group and also the community that you belong to. It's purposeful, it's patriotic, and people, leaders, are basically people with authority, and people also feel guilty when they do not conform to group norms. This is societies which are industrialized. So it's industrial societies, discipline is important, and for instance also it's very strict. Well, we can already start to I think recognize that there are in our societies in Western Europe and in the industrialized world, there are many of these elements of these blue and other also levels of this spiral dynamics. So if we go to the orange level, or the orange cycle, then we see that the color orange stands for the entrepreneurial, personal, and the also orientation to success. It's also an emphasis on rationality, calculating, and it's very much focused on personal advantage. And motives are largely economic. Well, here we can recognize, I think it's all these elements which start with blue and then go into orange, which define our capitalist system. And not only our capitalist system, but I think also our individualized societies. So where in purple and beige you will find societies which are much more tribal and where the community and the bonds are very important. In the blue and in the orange ones, it's really the individual quest to be successful. And we are now finding out that basically that has gone at the expense of many of other values that we are, which are also very important. So if we move on to the green one, you see that the green is more sensitive to, so in that sense, what these authors describe, that these are the stages that you go through, and while you retain part of the elements of the prior stages. This is an evolutionary model, so we still have a long way to, well, not a long way to go, but we still have some things that we still can achieve. So if you look at the green one, it's about being sensitive to humanistic values, and it's really the focus on personal growth, equality, and a concern for the environment. So we're moving towards green, or at least we understand that it's also very important, this more humanistic approach to society, and also this an approach in which you are concerned with the impact of what you do on the environment. So the work is very motivated by human contact and contribution to learning. If you then move on to the yellow one, which is called a more integrative, this is more what is called at system level. So you could say yellow is motivated by learning, and it's really focused on learning as much as possible and understanding the complexities of life. So material possessions become far less important, and also flexibility and functionality become the highest priority. So you see in this yellow stage that somehow we start to rethink what our values are and what is the most important thing in our lives. And I think we are in the yellow and moving towards the turquoise stage, which is the last stage, which says that life is an evolving, sorry, I can't read it. Life is an evolving, interactive whole. So that means that basically we start to understand that everything that we do leaves a footprint. And especially if you think about entrepreneurship, I think it's very important that we realize that. And where in the past entrepreneurship was really very much focused on having a brilliant idea, making a lot of money, nowadays you see that entrepreneurship is much more about showing leadership and also about the footprint that you leave. And the footprint is not only the footprint in environmental terms, but it's also the footprint you as a human being leave behind. So it's not only about profit, it's also about solidarity, it's also about giving back. Okay. So this was what I wanted to share with you about, where are we? So I would say where we are is basically, well, in any case, blue and orange. We are moving towards green, and we certainly have to start thinking about yellow and turquoise. If I then move on to the next slide, please. So what do we need? So if we want to move to these next levels, the turquoise and the yellow, what do we need? And what I'm saying, what my hypothesis is, or what I'm advocating for, is that we need more entrepreneurs and leaders. And for me, they are similar. So an entrepreneur has to be a leader. Well, why is an entrepreneur very important? I think very simple, for two reasons. Because an entrepreneur creates innovation, so renewal, And it's also the entrepreneur which leads change. And in a society, you always need entrepreneurs and you always need leaders to do that. I want to share some ideas about holistic leadership, which is, it's very, you could say, a topic at this moment, about leadership skills, and I want to share the tree of leadership. I want to start with this holistic leadership. Well, what is this holistic leadership? I learned about it and it was very interesting. It's an organization which is called Gaia Education. And Gaia, I don't know if you've heard of Gaia, but Gaia is a phenomenon in nature. And Gaia basically says that in nature, everything that happens, it will always revert to a kind of balance. So there is something in nature which causes that, well, there are good things and that there are bad things, but they will always somehow balance each other out. And that's a very interesting thought because, well, nowadays we think often in terms of everything that can go wrong. But if you think in terms of Gaia, then also the things that go wrong have a purpose. And that's a very interesting thought when you think about leadership. So what this holistic leadership means is it has to do with goals, it has to do with a process, and it has to do with relationship. What this holistic leadership in goals is, basically I would summarize it by saying that when you think of goals, and you do that as an entrepreneur, you don't only think about the goals which are directly only concerned with your organization or your company, or even you individually, but the goals that you define are somehow larger than yourself and your organization, but should also involve goals that have to do with giving back and with creating a more sustainable environment. So that's what's holistic about it. So you think about it as a whole, not as a part. And that also has to do with the process. So the process is basically that one of the main functions of you as an entrepreneur or as a leader is that you have to really take care of the people that you are working with, and that you also pay attention to what's happening within the group that you're working with and the decisions that you need to take, and what's more important, and that you also somehow deal with the conflicts that might emerge, because that's what happens, you know, when people start to work together. All kinds of things happen, and what's very important is that you are not only focused on the outcome, not only focused on the goals, but you pay as much attention to the human dynamics, to what's going on with people. What are their talents? What is their passion? What makes them tick? And how can I really tap into that potential as an entrepreneur? And how can we achieve fantastic things beyond our own imagination? So that is why holistic leadership hinges on relationship. I would say that's the backbone of holistic leadership. Because a good leader really focuses on the quality of the relationships, but also not only within the group, but also with the outside world. So if you would have to translate that in terms of you becoming an entrepreneur, it's not only about the product that you develop, and it's not only about the fantastic processes that you define, but it's really about investing in the relationships. And I would say relationships are key. The relationships with your employees, the relationship with your partners. And I think that's something that we've somehow always, has always been secondary instead of being the most important aspect. So a good leader is always attentive to personal situations and also how that might affect the group. And is also very attentive, as I said, to possible conflicts. Okay, this is kind of a more general framework for leadership, so that you basically, it says that don't focus only on the short term and what's near to you, but think of it in terms of something bigger than yourself and your organization. If we then go to the next slide, how does that translate into you or me or every individual, us change makers? How can we become change makers? Change makers as entrepreneurs, but also change makers as activists. And obviously that has to do with leadership skills. And leadership skills, you have different, you could say different aspects. It has to do with, I would call, I skills. That has really to do with you as an individual. Again, comes back obviously the relationship skills. You have to know something about strategy, and you have to know something about systemic thinking. Systemic thinking is nothing else that you understand what's happening in the world and how does globalization, for instance, have an impact on us, whether it's female wave of change or whether it's your organization. But what I'm interested in is those I skills, because it all revolves around us as individuals, and I believe strongly in the power of the individual. I always quote in that respect Mahatma Gandhi, and he says that we can be the change we wish to see in the world. And every time that I read that quote and I think about it, it's so true. It's so very true, because it all starts with a small act and an idea, something that you create, and that can be a catalyst for change. I always say the pyramids were also built stone by stone. So let us be the first stone. I want to tell, to finish off, how can we develop those I skills? What do we need to show individual leadership? Because that's so required if you want to become a change agent and if you want to be a successful entrepreneur. If we can go to the next slide. Well, this is the model of Stephen Covey. I adapted it a little bit because what I really like about his model is that he also is very aware that we move through different stages. So you see 3 stages: dependence, independence, and then interdependence. And to move from one stage to the other, we need to do a few things if we want to develop these individual leadership qualities and skills. And then we move from independence to interdependence. So dependence is, I would say, at the start, you have this idea, you want to become an entrepreneur or you want to achieve something, and you somehow want to create something and move from that sense of independence to independence. And what do you need to do? He says that you have to basically have certain skills, and the first one is that you have to be proactive. Well, that sounds like an open door. Be proactive. What does he mean with that? Be proactive means more than taking initiatives. It really means that you take responsibility for your own life. So instead of blaming the politics or Trump or whomever, is that you really take responsibility and that you say, okay, but I can change my life and I can be the change. And I can follow my heart and I can be passionate about what I do. So you take responsibility, and that we become aware that our behavior is not dependent of circumstances, but however, what we choose to do and also our decisions about it. So this is very fundamental. I think very often we are waiting for something to happen and then we say, okay, but then we will act. No, it starts with us deciding to act and us deciding to choose. So that's what he means with be proactive. And so then the second skill is begin with the end. And what does that mean? So that you have to somehow have a vision of where you want to be. So don't be too modest and don't be too afraid to think big. And so you think with the end, so that you somehow think about how you want to be remembered. So what do you want people to say about you when they talk about you? And that takes us away from, you know, this small box where we put ourselves in, and that we start to dream again. And that's very important, because it's safer to say, well, you know, I can do nothing about it, and now let's focus on the short term. And it's much more daring to dare to say, no, you know, I will begin with the end and what my dream is. So that's the second skill, which is very important. You can do that, by the way, by writing a personal mission. What is your personal mission? What do you want to do? But it also has to do with your own values and, you know, what is really important for you in your life. The third skill is about first things first. So you need to be also practical. And so where skill 1 says, well, you are in charge, you are the leader, and the second one says, you know what, this is what you want to create, this is your dream. The third one is basically that you are making 1 and 2 happen. So that's really, you're going to work, you know, it's not only about having a mission statement. You're actually going to take steps to make it happen, because that's how you move from dependence to independence. You start to really do the things that you want to do. And then you move to skill number 4, and that is to think in terms of win-win. You can think, when you think about interaction with other people, there are basically 6 different categories. Win-win, win-lose, lose-win, lose-lose, win or win-win, but you cannot come to an agreement. And thinking in terms of win-win is really important, because there you really have to go back to yourself and think about things like, what are my moral standards? What are my principles? What is really important to me? What is unique? And what is more important, I think this is also where humanity plays a role, because it's not only about you winning and outperforming the other one, but it's about creating a situation where you both win. And I think that's very important. That's really about creating something in which both, you can both benefit. If you translate it to becoming an entrepreneur, it's not about outperforming, but creating a situation in which you're creating value. If you then move to the 6th skill, or the 5th one, it's first understand and then be understood. Well, that's also a very important one, because we usually we want to be understood, and then in second instance we want to understand. And this really requires to develop our skill to listen. To listen, and to listen without the voice of judgment. Very important. So very often, I don't know if you have that, I have that, is that I'm listening and then I already am thinking about the answer that I will give. So then you are not listening, sorry. You are already listening, in a sense, in a biased way. You're not listening without the voice of judgment. This is about empathy. This is about really placing yourself in the role of the other one. So if you would think in terms of customers or whatever, is that you really take the position of the customer and try to visualize, okay, what does this person need? What does this person want? Or what does society need? Or what does society want? The 6th skill is synergy. Well, here you move to basically the level of also interdependence, because this is about collaboration. So you see that you move from very much focused on what do I want to basically opening up and reaching out to the world and saying also, that's why it's a tree, you know, it's like the branches of the tree saying, okay, what do I have to give to the world? And like the tree, you also have something unique. So what is unique about me? And what do I need? What do I need to, like a tree needs oxygen, otherwise it won't grow. What gives me, what do I need to grow? So synergy is about reaching out to the world and collaborating. And that basically is also understanding that it's through collaboration that you can achieve a lot of things. And that's what we are trying to do also with Female Wave of Change. We are connecting, we are reaching out, we are creating a network, but we are not creating only a network. We are really reaching out from heart to heart because we believe in the same things. And finally, that's also very important, it's called sharpen the saw. It's an interesting concept, and this really has to do with taking care of yourself. We have to take care of ourselves. And there's a very short story about this one. So there's this in the woods, you know, he's sawing. I think you say sawing. He's a tree. He's trying to cut a tree, and then somebody asks, "How long have you been doing that?" And then he says, "More than 5 hours." And he says, "I'm really broken. It's so heavy." But then why don't you stop doing that and you sharpen your saw? Then it will go a bit quicker. And then the guy says, "No, I don't have time to do that because I have so much to do." So sharpen the saw is about really we need to take care of ourselves. We really not only need to take care of ourselves, but we really need to take care of each other. So for me, and that's how I want to end, leadership is about taking care of others. Thank you. That's what I wanted to share with you.
Wow, Saskia, thank you. It's I felt like I was trying to see if there were any questions, but I also think that a lot of people were listening quietly about this very inspiring contribution of you for this evening. What I have one question, and maybe others have more questions. I have one question. You know, where is this, if you, especially looking at this slide or the slide with all the colors, where is the specific feminine energy?
I think the energy is, I think we are the tree, to be honest. You know, for me, the tree stands for, it's about the heart. It's about, you know, we need trees for so many things. I don't know, I was watching a film about, it was, I don't know what this actress was called. She said, the earth doesn't need us, we need the earth. And I think the world needs us, women, because we are the ones that give life. We are the ones that are really concerned about not only our own well-being, but about the well-being of our children and about the well-being of society. Much more than I feel men are. They have other concerns. But I don't know if everybody agrees, but yeah.
No, well, I do. It's really interesting approach. So, well, Saskia, I really want to thank you. It has been very interesting. What we've been trying to do, and that goes for everyone, for all the speakers. tonight it was the female meet the female wave of change, and you know, although we've just started, but we have already started this wave of energy of everything that is happening. We want to introduce you tonight also to what we're doing, what we're offering. We want to connect, we want to share, and this is a way of sharing knowledge, creating awareness, and making the first steps to these waves that we want to ignite. So
can I say something? I would really like if anybody can approach me via Facebook or you know, if they want to give me feedback or so, you know, because it's the first time that we do this, and I want to hear, you know, if it was
if it works,
what they thought about. I always like to hear that. Yes,
good.
Certainly.
And that goes for everyone. We all want our feedback. This webinar has been recorded, so it will be online starting tomorrow. So also this interesting. It's not like you have to you have to understand, and but you have to be able to work with it tomorrow. You can just go back to our YouTube channel and listen again and be inspired. So we will have a lot of speakers in the next coming months. What I said, well, we have the schedule now for every 3 weeks, but it might be that it will be every 2 weeks if we have so many speakers already lining up. So keep in touch. Keep in touch on Facebook, on LinkedIn, on all the other social media. Sandra says you can find all the speakers on Facebook or LinkedIn. Please share your thoughts with us and link if you like. So we're not just sending, you know, we want really connecting and building that bridge. So come back to us, and we really want to work together with you and not just, you know, just spread, you know, only give you the information. We really want to make things happen, and that can only be together. So thank you for joining us tonight. It was really great having you here, and for the next time, you know, ask your friends to join, and ask them to join the Female Wave of Change, and on LinkedIn, on Facebook, and all the other social media. And we'll be back as soon as possible. But in the meantime, go find us and join us in whatever is happening. Thank you all, and see you soon.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.